I love this creamy rice pudding because most of the work is done in the oven and it produces a beautiful creamy pudding, exactly the same as if you did it on the stovetop, but no burnt pans, no mess, and most of the work is done in the oven. The caramelised pears that go with it are absolutely delicious, and if you don't like pears, you can swap it for thinly sliced apples or sliced bananas. With just a few simple ingredients, this really produces a truly delicious dessert. And this is how it goes. You'll need a casserole dish with a lid, and if you don't have a casserole dish with a lid, you can just cover it with foil. So take some butter, melted or just soft butter, and grease the dish lightly. Now you'll need arborio or short grain rice for this, and it's best not to wash it because we want the starch from it. So that's 1/3 cup of arborio rice, which is 70 grams. And then 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar. I've gone with 3 tablespoons. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 600 mils of full cream milk. Stir that around gently, then just dot the top of it with 30 grams of butter. Now this dish is probably a bit large, but it's all I had. Place on the lid, so you'll need a moderately slow oven, 150 degrees with a fan or 170 without a fan. And it goes in the oven for a total baking time of 1.5 hours. The first hour is with the lid. And I'll check it after 30 minutes and give it a stir. So it's been 30 minutes, and just give it a little stir and then pop it back in the oven for another 30 minutes. So the rice pudding has been in the oven for an hour now. At this stage, the rice should be getting tender. Just check a grain. That's starting to feel tender. Now it goes back in the oven without a lid for another 30 minutes. And I'm going to check on this in 15 minutes to see if it needs any more liquid. And this time, while it's in the oven, I'm going to quickly make the caramelised pears. So I've got 6 medium-sized pears here, and all I'm going to do is remove the skin and then thick pieces of pear into the bowl. And I'll try a peeler because it's less waste, to be honest. Pears are so delicious. I don't want to waste any of them. I would use a cutting board, but I've out of them actually, and my other cutting board at the moment smells like garlic and onions, and there's nothing worse than a dessert tasting like garlic and onions. Good enough. Warm up a pan over a moderate heat. And my mum and dad said to me the other day, "Lee, your pan looks so dirty." But actually it's a stainless steel one, and it's just seasoned and it's absolutely clean. So once the pan's got a little bit of heat to it, throw in 30 grams of butter. And you don't have to use a big pan like this, but I don't have many choices at the moment because we got a new induction hob. So I'll have to buy a medium-sized one, but I'm actually loving this new stainless steel one. And then throw in the pears. So you want to get a little bit of brown on the pears, a little bit of colour. And by doing this brings out the flavour of the pears as well. So this has been in the oven for 15 minutes uncovered. Give it a stir and pop it back in the oven. And what we're looking for here is all that rice to absorb the liquid, so it's super creamy and delicious. Right, check it again in 15 minutes and then it should nearly be done. So these have actually been cooking for about 10 minutes, but they're starting to get some lovely colour on them, which is exactly how I wanted it, and still holding their shape. But all the sugars are starting to caramelise now. So I've got a half a cup of brown sugar, which I think I weighed at 80 grams, but I'll put that in the recipe. Just a quarter of a cup of cream, which is also about 80 mils actually. And just gently stir this into the pears. And cook that lusciousness for only 2 minutes or so until you're happy with the thickness of the sauce. And if for some reason you used more pears and there wasn't quite enough sauce, just add a bit of cream. So once it's thick, how you like it, only takes a couple of minutes. Turn off the heat, put on the lid and keep them warm. So that's been an hour and a half in total. And the rice is looking beautiful. Now you can easily double this recipe or even triple it, but it's just Mike and I. But the rice is starting to look beautiful. And I'm going to leave it. I'm going to put the lid on it because it's really hot. And I'm going to leave that for about 10 minutes and I'll see what it looks like then. But that will thicken up. You watch. So the pudding's just been sitting there for 10 minutes or so. I should have doubled the recipe. I love it so much. And Mike loves it as well. That's just thickened up beautiful. And how easy is that, right? Creamy rice pudding. And if you think yours is too thick, you can also just thin it down with a little bit more milk or actually some cream. Some caramel. A little bit of cream, just because. That is one delicious dessert and super easy and really economical to make. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy this. I've been making this at work a lot lately and the people have been loving it. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Oh, that rice is just cooked to perfection.